welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today I'm bringing you along for kind of a review and talk about home canning. I just did a couple of days of canning, and when I started kind of going through inventory and juggling things around and checking what I have and what needs to be used and all that, I really started thinking about, maybe some of you would like to see or hear the pros and cons and things that we like, things that we really didn't care for, and why. And so if this inspires you to stay with me, and I hope it does, because there are some things that I think should be shared, and go down in that About section below, check out all the links that I've left for you. I've got my Wild Tree website, my mailing address, my Facebook page. I've even left Zacon Foods link, so go sign up over there for free, and they'll email you when they have an event in your area where you can get great discounts on top quality meats. All right, guys, so let's go check out what I've got here on the counter. I've got a lot of canned goods out here, and yeah, we love them. Come on, let's go. Now, I will say, along the way, you'll start to experiment because it's fun, number one, and your palate usually is broader than what's in the bulk canning book. And so I will say I've experimented. Like, for instance, this chicken here is with red curry. I added some red curry paste to it, and then the chicken was raw packed, so it produces its own broth. And this one was good. I mean, it's not as great as if you do it fresh. I think I would rather just add the curry afterwards, if that makes sense. So we're gonna get that one out of the way. That was kind of an experiment. Bacon. A couple years ago, everybody was doing bacon, and they would wrap it up in parchment paper and all that. And I just decided to do mine with ends and pieces in these half-pint jars, because generally I would need bacon to flavor something. I don't need a pound of bacon. And so this works out really well, and they do really well. This is from 2.5 years ago. And a lot of this stuff is a couple of years. Some of it's even these jalapenos right here. We just had some of these on nachos the other night, and these are from '09. And they're still just fine to eat. So they still have a really pretty color. I do advise that you, if you can, it's really fun to look at your jars on the shelf, but I do store them in the canning jar boxes. So keep the light out. Light and air is your enemy. So these were water bath canned. Pickled jalapenos, delicious. Let's see, we have, I want to bring out one of the, you know what, before I go any further, I'm going to show you, yesterday's canning result was northern white beans, and you can see all the starch that has happened since then. And then I did want to show you, these are the black beans, and this was the lid and the lid and rubber gasket that didn't seal in the canning session prior. And I couldn't figure out why, and that was with the pinto beans. And I marked the jar, or the lid, and everything. Tabular lids are fantastic because I can use them over and over and over again. And after 10, 12 uses, you start seeing wear on your rubber gasket. Go ahead and replace those. You can order just those. So these black beans came out good. They also have a lot of starch in here, so when I use either one of these, I will rinse them. That's just me personally. So beans are fantastic to put in your extended pantry. And this is ham and bean soup. And I used little tiny diced ham that you get pre-diced in the grocery store. And they come out in this, after it's been pressure canned, almost unrecognizable, as it's a quarter of the size it was. And you can't really recognize it as ham, but it definitely flavored the whole soup. And you do have to add water. This is more of a concentrate because it's got a ton of beans in it. So I add chicken stock to this when I open these, and they're fantastic. Let's see, these are chicken thighs, and I threw in, just like you would if you were making stock, celery, carrots, onion in here, and it's just, this is the base for soup. And this comes out very, very nice. It's really good. I I have no problem with this one at all. Now, I will say, one of the things I made that I did not care for was turkey soup. For some reason, the turkey got really almost tough and stringy feeling to me, and I'm not sure why. The broth tasted overcooked. So fortunately, I have dogs, and I put that over their rice and their kibble, and they're happy to have it. And so, you know, you can use stuff up. The potatoes that I canned, I'm going to tell you, this is, these were the gold potatoes, and they still have a lot of starch. You can see how cloudy those jars are. I really like the taste of the russets. Now, I did find some white potatoes, and next time I need to can potatoes, I'm going to do it. The only way that we really like these, and you can try them any way you like, is fried potatoes. I don't care for them mashed after they've been pressure canned. And I actually roasted some in the oven with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and they were good, but the fried potatoes are the best. You just open up a jar on Saturday morning when you want to make breakfast and brown them off, or have them for dinner. So, or have them for dinner and then breakfast the next morning. So I run these underwater as well, but it's good to have on the shelf to have that extra. Green beans out of the garden from 2 years ago, and they're still fantastic. They taste just like the day I canned them. So do my carrots and celery that I canned that year. And then I've got, that was black beans again, cranberry sauce. You make a big batch of cranberry sauce, and you don't have to do it for the next 3 or 4 holidays. You've got it in your pantry. You guys all know I make that sweet onion jam. This time I used 12-ounce jars, so it'll go a little bit further because it goes really fast. And then let's see. Oh, I've got what I consider a fail, and these were so pretty. I was inspired by a fellow YouTuber to do these. I couldn't wait to do them because I saw how pretty they looked in the jars when she did them, and so I did them. And anyway, I'm going to tell you, I don't care for these. It's a citrus. You need to section them, take the segments out of that white pith, or that membrane, I should say, because that membrane is bitter. Now, I can use them in smoothies, and you can't tell. But to just have them on their own, to eat them out of the jar like you could a mandarin orange, or to even have them on a salad, they're a little bitter. So next time I do something like this, I definitely take the segments out of the membrane. So to me, that was kind of a fail, even though we've used them in smoothies and that kind of thing. Pickle relish. This, again, was done in 2010, and there's nothing wrong with this. We have a jar in the refrigerator right now. It lasts forever. And I don't always take my rings, I leave my rings off, because we don't live in a humid climate. We're in a very dry climate, so I can leave them on without fear of rusting. My favorite, I will tell you, of all things that I can, all meats, is roast beef. Absolutely fantastic. Roast beef, and then elk and venison come up in the second place, and corned beef is outstanding. And then chicken, and this is our home canned chicken from, these were our chickens. So there's a lot of fat, but that fat is really good. Homegrown, yeah, nothing wrong with that. I even experimented with Cornish game hen. Now, I just spatchcocked the hens, cut them in half, and got them in the jars. So this is one Cornish game hen without the spine, and these came out really, really nice. It makes a fantastic soup. So if you're ever, you ever get them on sale, and that's what happened to me, can it. Ground turkey, fantastic, love it. But I will say my favorite ground beef or ground meat is the dry canned ground beef. And I'm getting ready to do that again. You still end up with a little bit of fat, even though this was really lean meat. You pre-cook it and you can it with no liquid in here, and it tastes just like you just browned it off in your skillet. So it's fabulous. Whereas I'm not crazy about the ground beef in liquid, and I do have some of that. So sometimes I'll use a pint of the regular in the liquid and some of this to just get it gone. What happens is in the liquid it becomes very soft. So for a bolognese or maybe sloppy joes, it's a good thing. So favorites are the red meats. They just taste like you slow cooked them all day long. And of course we've got our boneless, skinless chicken breast. And I browned this one off, well, not browned it, but I pre-cooked it a little bit. The pieces stay a little more intact when you do that. I'm not sure why, but they do. And you don't get it sticking all over your jar and residue and all that. So, and that's from 2011. I also have canned cod, and it comes out amazing. It's a long canning process though, but if you ever come across a great deal, you want to do that. Peaches, these are fantastic. Salsa, this is from 2012. I still have, I have enough maybe to get me to summer. We go through a lot of salsa, as well as pasta sauce. This is my homemade pasta sauce. Tomato soup, and all you do when you open this is add milk or cream, or leave it alone. You don't have to, but it's meant to be a cream of tomato soup, and it tastes so good. This is chicken polska kielbasa, and these come out pretty good. The texture's a little soft. Would I do it again? Probably not. I'm going to say no on this. Definitely no on canned meatloaf. I don't like that. I do love the pork patties, and I didn't pull a jar out. I did those from I'm Still Working's channel. I did them in these jars, and you just take a ring, a small ring, so they'll fit in the jar and form your patties, and then they just stack right up, and you cover them with broth. Those are fantastic for breakfast, for dinner with some gravy. Let's see, I want to make sure I cover everything. Oh, this here is kind of interesting. And this right here, that's the corned beef. If you buy a little can of corned beef, it's about $5. So when you get corned beef on sale, put it in a jar, can it up. It makes great corned beef and hash or corned beef and cabbage. Okay, on to, is my jar sealed? You guys can hear that, right? When I went to pull this out of the cabinet, and I just canned this. This is my raspberry serrano barbecue sauce. And I thought, oh, darn it. I went to grab it, and I did that. And I went, oh my gosh, it's not sealed. And I knew I had checked all the seals. Well, the only sure way to tell is to pick it up by that lid. And that is sealed. Why it's got the up and down thing going on, I have no idea, but it is sealed and it's absolutely fine. If it wasn't sealed, as soon as you pull this off, that would come with it. This is a Tex-Mex garden mix. I don't remember if I did a video for you, but it's tomatoes and peppers and onions, and I'll open a jar of this and throw it over rice, and you have a great Mexican rice, and you don't have to think about anything else. And then, of course, we always have meals in a jar on hand that we dry can with our seal meal. And this is a stew mixture with the beans and vegetables. And I would go ahead and add to that some, well, that's not meat. I would go ahead and add maybe some beef or elk meat to that and make a fabulous stew. All good things. These are my home canned chili beans, and these are fantastic. They are already seasoned. Add that with the ground beef, and you have chili, like right there. And I've taken this to work many times, and the girls just love it. I also have some pumpkin curry soup. That's fantastic. You can add cream to this if you'd like, or leave it the way it is as well. So I hope that this gets you to the point of thinking about going ahead and canning, because really and truly you can have all these pure products that you put in the jar, that you know what's in there. There's not a paragraph to read, and sometimes I'll add salt, sometimes I don't, but usually I cut the salt back unless it's like the beans kind of need it and the potatoes kind of need it. And then I will definitely tell you, these little dissolvable labels are fabulous. I'm going to give a little plug on this because they're easy to see on the front of your jar, and then you can date your metal lids. That way you know you've used that lid. If you've got a Tadler lid, I don't like writing on my Tadlers very much, but like my tomato soup here I did because I didn't have any labels. These labels are fantastic. And as soon as you get them in the water, they come right off the jar. So I highly recommend those. And I honestly, I've even got chili sauce here that I made. So if you are thinking about this, I say try it. Start with water bath canning, although I will tell you pressure canning, even though you have to be really diligent about the timing and what you're doing, it is far easier in my opinion because of not having to be so finicky about sterile jars and sterile this and that, because it goes under so much heat and pressure. So I truly hope this inspires you to maybe step outside the box you're in and try your hand at home canning. Watch, there's a ton of us out there that do this on YouTube. Get yourself a ball canning book and follow the guidelines given in there. A lot of us will edge out of that zone a little bit, but we always keep the timing and the pressure what it should be. So I hope this brings you back. I hope if you're not a subscriber, you go ahead and subscribe and come along for some more canning videos, because this is only a small portion of what I've put away. I actually even did I think it was canned elk and rice. And don't can rice, it just ends up to be a big blob of starch. So, but again, it didn't go to waste. The dogs loved it. So, okay guys, I'll catch you on the next round of canning, and can't wait to see you next time. God bless.